Moondance here, not quite as ornate in the sense of I would say additional like designs or additional accessories as Sunstar, but I like Moondance in that again she has a beautiful collar, and she also has what did you call it? A Victorian some sort of headpiece, or
Well,
what
yeah,
did you say?
she definitely has the show horse headpiece.
Yes.
It's almost a little bit military, like
Okay.
like a military parade horse.
With like a fleur de lis on it or something.
Yeah, it's such a strange piece, but I mean, it works in her design. Like, it's got all the colors, the silver, the magenta, and the teal that
And
are
we were
Fallon
talking about
colors.
if it would be better to have had like a molded piece of like hard plastic hair on the unicorns instead of like this decorative thing. And I think that of Sunstar and Moondance's little tufted pieces almost look the most like hair. So
Right. And I
I
think that's
think I
probably
was
why I like
almost
it a little better.
right. I think that I liked it a little bit more as well. So I think it's just because of the fact that it kind of looked as if it could have been hair. And as far as screen accuracy goes, Moondance is almost the exact shade of this like lavender bluish purple that she's supposed to be.
Hmm.
Again, just like Sunstar, she has the translucent legs and the muzzle. But I mean, other than that, everything else is pretty much screen accurate. Her hair color, her little rump jewels, the coloring
She's got a
of
little moon on her rump.
right, just like in the show. Actually, and it's always I don't know. Did you ever think why doesn't Sunstar have a son? Because I did as a
Well,
kid.
that's true. But you wonder if you're born with a moon right there, aren't you just going to get some sort of moon name?
Right. But you know what? She's unique, and maybe it's just because she's a princess. But Shadow Song doesn't have a heart anywhere on him. He doesn't even have rump jewels.
I just didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah, he doesn't. Although Cleo does, but not Shadow Song.
Well, he's the
Anyway,
outcast.
right. Back to Moondance here. So in her non-jewel armor, she has this pretty saddle. It's a reddish color and it has little fringes on it and some decorations, but that changes with the jewel power. She also has a less decorative collar. It's almost like a belt. It's just like a purple strap with a holster for the moonstone, but when she has jewel power, it almost looks like an upside down crown. Again, I don't know if that was alluding to the fact that she's a princess or not, but that's the way that I always saw it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like if you flip that over, that's a very classic fantasy crown design.
Right. Right. And in the show, it's a purple and with a hint of silver, but on the doll, it's all silver. So that's one thing that it's not quite screen accurate on. The other thing is the headpiece, kind of that I don't really
The
know what it
mask.
is. Yeah, okay, the mask. But it's much more vibrant red. Same thing with the saddle, although on the toy, it's more of like this maroonish color. The
Yeah.
saddle is like a sparkly maroon. I don't know why they didn't make it red. Maybe it's just because when in play, if you put Fallon next to her, it would have been like, well, where does the red come from? But I think it stands out nicely. I mean,
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure it's definitely like we could mold these in the same color of plastic,
mhm.
and that's probably why.
Right. So again, a cost savings.
Yeah, exactly.
And the design on the saddle, it's pretty much the same. There's silver decorations on the reddish, or here we have a purple saddle, so that's pretty much the
Hmm.
same. The flags, the purple is a little bit more of a brighter purple, and then it's the teal, but for the most part, that's all screen accurate.
Yeah, I always loved the flags, even though in the show, the flag sort of wraps around Fallon's legs while she's riding, and it would obscure basically from them having to probably draw like a stirrup.
Mhm. Right.
So, but on the toy, of course, it's more of a flat piece that gives the illusion of depth with
But
the way that
would
the
you have
flags curl.
but would you have wanted it to kind of been separated so that you could kind of holster Fallon's
You know,
legs
I think
inside?
the way that the toys sit on the unicorns, it probably wouldn't have been possible anyway, unless they were like a foot wide on the unicorn.
It would have made it a lot wider, so I guess it's better to
Right.
have it as a flat thing. Now, for me, I always kind of saw it like more like a blanket or something as you would put over a horse and then put the saddle over. I don't think that they were thinking of it that way, but that's the way that I always kind of saw it as.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives that vibe.
And then, like Sunstar, she has this decorative cup that sits on her, well, where her tail starts. So when she's a normal unicorn, she doesn't have that. But once she has jewel power, then this little cup appears. It's a teal colored cup in the show. It has a little bit more like a leaf design than on the toy.
Yeah, the toy definitely is definitely a little different looking.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to describe what even it is in the toy.
The I was just looking at the mask as well. I feel like the mask had larger eye holes than the doll does. I feel like the doll feels more like what would actually be appropriate to have as a mask, like to protect yourself, versus the show art. I feel like the show art, it's a little bit less protective.
Right. It's like, oh, you've got 5 inches around her eyes.
Right, right. I think that Moondance, maybe not quite as deluxe feeling as Sunstar. She's fun and I like her. She's very pretty, but I think there's just something about the Sunstar toy and the way that it was created. Maybe it was just even the color scheme, but it just feels much more deluxe to me. But that's my own opinion.
Is it the wings?
I think it's the wings, it's the color, it's the fact that it's gold, and it
Oh,
stands out. I think.
because it's gold, it's more deluxe.
Exactly. But in real life, I don't even like gold. I prefer silver, so I don't know. But it's just the way that it looks like on the toy itself.
Yeah, I mean, I always appreciated with Moondance though that she has 3 pieces of kibble to take on and off.
Versus the one,
Versus Sunstar is just one
the
giant
saddle.
thing to move.
Yes. Did you ever put the wings on Moondance and pretend
Oh,
like
of
she
course.
flew?
Of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
That was one nice thing that you could interchange the two. So if you wanted to, you could put, I don't know if the mask fits because I know that their head is leaning a different way, but I suppose it could. But yeah, I mean, that was something fun about the dolls is that you could really interchange all of them because they were all pretty much the same size and they wore the same armor pieces.
By the magic of the Sunstone, you're tuned into the Jewel Riders Archive.